like, am I tech support? I was
Tech support, give me out.
It's an interactive video.
Well, kind of it is, yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I was talking to them actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's been so long.
It's been so long. Dude, the last time you were here, I was in England.
Yeah.
And you were talking to yourself.
I was talking to myself. That was a particularly sad episode.
I watched that episode in England, surrounded by friends, drinking beer.
Basically.
Well, I mean, I'm never not without friends, especially not when I'm looking at you on the screen. But I genuinely thought you were so sad on that episode.
Well, it was a combination.
Great.
It was a combination of me being like, oh, I'm by myself.
Yes.
And then there was a bit where I sort of leant down to think about what happens next, and Cassie kept that
Cassie
in.
kept including
So
it,
I'm just sitting there going, like looking so sad, but really I'm just like, what do I say next?
It was so solid. It was so solid.
But yeah.
But anyway,
we're back in the video together now. Yeah.
So sorry about the delay. I've particularly been going through a little bit of a creative drought, trying to tie up this kind of like tapestry that I've been weaving, which has proven very difficult because I didn't want it to be crap. But the remedy to that is a completely different story.
Completely different.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I like
so that was on the back burner for now, but I've got something for you today that I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something a bit different, you said.
Scholars would describe it as a stylistically offbeat.
Scholars?
Yeah.
YouTube scholars?
Just me.
Oh, just you? Okay.
Wow.
That's alright.
That was cool though.
What?
That was really like they went what?
Oh yeah?
Wow. Man,
Alright.
setting the tone. Alright, let's jump into it.
Okay.
Forget about it, guys. We've got a story.
Title then?
The title to this story is Tech Support.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let's see what's up.
Very cool. Hit me.
The following document is an excerpt from a messaging board thread titled "Something Weird is in My Cubicle," posted on the tech support section of the journalistsansfrontiere.org forum on June 14th, 2014. Although extensive data mining has been employed, no meta trace of the forum in question has ever been found, and our verified counterpart, Reporters Without Borders, are unaware of the organization's existence. However, the thread itself, posted anonymously through a confidential IRC channel, can be read to its full extent here. This is the first post. I'll be as brief and to the point as I can be, but I'm not going to lie, I am freaking out right now and I don't know what to do. It's been over a week now and the floor in my office cubicle still hasn't rendered. At first it wasn't the whole thing. I mean, I'm fairly certain my mind would have just splintered and cracked at the final sight of that. I could barely comprehend this one, but no, just a small corner at the back wall behind where the wires from my monitor snaked across the plasterboard cladding and then into the next one. You see, it's difficult. I don't know how to explain it in the terms that I know other than that. Rendered is the only word that comes to mind. Anything else would be, well, I dread to think. It was like when you were a kid playing The Simpsons Hit and Run and you were trying to get a high score on one of the endgame races, but the game itself couldn't quite keep up with how many corners you had cut. And then when you hit the next checkpoint, it was just grey. Or not quite nothing, not quite anything. Oblique shapes of greyness in a place that hadn't managed to spring forth from the machine that had loaded it. If you want to know how I discovered it, the manner is equally as mundane as my workplace. A stack of papers slid off the back of my desk. New forms from HR that I had forgotten to sign about security on the late shift, and that was it. When I bent down, squeezed under the space in my desk to pick them up, there it was, staring at me. A hole, but not a hole. Nothing. It was just the absence of it. The absence of something. After that, I took my lunch. I didn't quite know what to do, really. I couldn't exactly sit and type for another hour whilst there was a glitch, I guess, poking about near my feet. I grabbed a sandwich at a deli spot that I usually saved as a treat for Fridays, given the fact that it was an extra 10-minute walk from my office, and to be honest, I needed the space. I ordered the tuna on rye and washed it down with a cold brew, one of those nitro super press things. I don't know how they work, it was $9, but shit. I didn't care. I needed something stronger than just caffeine. Valium. Morphine, maybe. I don't know. I perched up on a park bench and tried to eat, tapping my foot incessantly as the traffic of the city passed me by, sporadically snapping a bite of the sandwich every time I could keep my hands away from my head, trying to crease out the impossibility of what I'd just seen, like a bad massage. And that was when I started to panic. What if I told someone? I mean, I had to, right? There was a hole in reality 2 steps away from where I spent 70% of my day. I had to tell somebody, but what if they couldn't see it? What if when I showed them, they slowly shook their head, pulled a face, and then had a quiet word with someone from HR? What if it wasn't there and all of it was in my head? And then before you knew it, I was compassionately given 6 weeks leave, and I was seeing more unrendered holes as the days went by. Until then, it was just me, my eyes, I guess, and a wasteland of glitches and nothingness, when in reality I'd be stumbling around a padded room somewhere. Thoughts of my potential future self were racing like a madman pulling pages from a phone book, but then my mind quickly stumbled back to the hole in the cubicle and the very real image that my mind had seen less than half an hour ago. The thought of the impossibilities of the architecture of reality made me feel sick, and tuna started to seem like a really bad idea. My head started spinning and I had to pinch the crease of my brow just to stop myself from falling over. I've never had vertigo, but I imagine what I had was much, much worse. I paused, frozen. I had to do something. I wasn't willing to fall over the edge just yet. And then I took one big, deep breath inward. And then for the next 5 minutes, with my eyes closed, all I did was breathe. Slowly at first, staggered, laboured breaths, catching as much air as I could in one draw, but then gradually, more deliberately, building blocks of oxygen, one after the other, and before I knew it, I could open my eyes. I clutched the bench beneath me, I smoothed my hand across the dirt and the concrete below that. I took a bite of the tuna on rice sandwich. I swallowed it. After lunch, I headed back to the office. I smiled at everyone that I passed. I nodded when Jim from the mailroom asked if I'd caught the game last night, and we both laughed at a sport we collectively didn't understand. I sat at my desk until just after 5. I finished the first draft of the article I've been working on for editorial. I smiled again at everyone when I made my way outside, slipping my coat on as the weather had turned, flipping my collar up at the light patter of rain. And then I went home. I didn't sleep a wink that night. Although I'm fairly confident that my physical body did get its full 8 hours. You see, my mind was working overtime. It was like my brain was a newsroom and we'd just been shoveled a crate of documents that could bring down a president. But still, that entire evening, as my window shifted from the black expanse of the night into the dim glow of a new morning, I hoped and prayed with every fibre of my being that tomorrow it would be gone. I'd just head into work. I wouldn't even look to see if it was there, and I'd carry on with my life. That promotion was still on the line, and Harriet from editorials was in her final few weeks before sabbatical. Just don't worry about it. Out of sight, out of mind. But of course, we know differently. And that very next morning, after pretending not to be bothered for the first hour and a half of work, I deliberately pushed a pen off my desk and it rolled down the wall of the cubicle. I cursed myself under my breath for effect. What an idiot, or something like that. And I bent down to pick it up. This time, it was bigger. If the day before the unrendered hole in reality was the size of a small orange, today it was a grapefruit. Usually I'm not one to show emotion, but at the sight of it, tears began to well up and spill down my cheeks. I didn't know what I was looking at. I couldn't know what I was looking at, but it was still there. And it was worse this time. As I gently brushed a hand across the carpet, I fished out for the pen and foolishly tried to poke the space that shouldn't have been there. But before my hand could even fully extend out the plastic, it was gone. The pen was no longer a part of reality. I don't know how to say this. I don't even know how to fully formulate my thoughts, but it's been a week and the whole back wall of my cubicle hasn't rendered into reality. Part of the desk, as far as I can tell, has slipped into somewhere, something. I don't know where it is, but it's not here. It's nowhere. It's It's nothing. Please, tech support or anyone. I need your help.
I was like, am I tech support? I was like,
Tech support, give me a help.
Is this an interactive video?
Well, kind of it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like tech support.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there going to be a part 2 for that?
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like an email chain or something? Like
Yes.
Going back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I intended this. I kind of want to like extrapolate your reaction. I kind of want to extrapolate the comments to this video,
Okay.
and I kind of want to use that to shape the next way.
Okay.
Right. So obviously we'll be experiencing it in almost in parentheses because we'll be in 2 different tenses. But hey, that's what metafiction is all about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that will play into the reality
God.
bending idea of it.
So what I say in this will affect what tech support says.
Yes, it will be. I am taking note.
I don't know if that means I should take on that role right now, or I should just...
Well, put it. If it makes you feel a little bit better, I'm torn between doing an actual response from tech support as like a reply, or exclusively having the narrator's reply, and then tech support in question will just be your verbal and the comments.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
almost like like a fan footage thing where there are some rules to it, although
I think we should get people in the comments to be like,
Yeah, that'd be
"Hey, this
awesome.
is what you need to do," and then you can just sort of take that and run with it. And
That'd be
let's
awesome.
expand that comment to a whole paragraph.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, well, I'll be running into it, like I'll maybe take a few of the inspirations from it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, wow. So it reminded me a lot. The feeling I got from this was actually the Stanley Parables.
Yes.
I got that sort of feeling.
Big inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that stuff anyway. Dude.
Yeah. Something. It's like it's an odd world.
Yeah.
But not in itself. Like I felt like a part of reality missing was disturbing for him, but not as disturbing as it would be in this world. It sort of felt like that world in itself was disturbing. That was just a bit of an odd thing that happened. But what was actually disturbing was his reaction as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It came from I saw it on a thread on Reddit, I think, just like a funny comment, and someone like jokingly said like, "Oh, my floor hasn't rendered at home and I'm freaking out." And I'd just be like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, imagine if like you were the only one who could.
But it looked like it wasn't that stuff was not rendering, stuff was like de-rendering, so stuff was okay
Yes.
before.
Maybe that's what it is, right?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah. Which direction?
is he gonna go to work the next update and his whole cubicle's gone or something?
Yeah.
Like,
but his reaction is really weird. Like he's just sort of like a bit annoyed by it. Like he just sort of goes out, he just drops off for lunch. Like he's not freaked out by it at all.
maybe this is normal.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like,
Yeah. Well, maybe you're right. I thought perhaps. Well, I don't know. I've got some guesses about what this place is.
Right.
Again, comparing to some sort of video game, I thought it was a bit like whatever the name is, the company in Portal. You know.
Oh, Black Mesa.
Black Mesa.
Yeah.
Is that the name of them? Portal.
Is it Black Mesa? Oh my god.
Like Half-Life. You're thinking of. Portal is
Aperture.
Aperture. Yeah.
But it's all the same world. It's
Yes,
Portal
no,
and Half-Life. Yeah.
No, I know.
Orange
yeah,
box and stuff. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
Aperture.
yeah.
It's Aperture. Yeah.
Yes, Aperture Industries or something.
That's
like that.
it. Yeah.
I was picturing it like that, like
That's cool.
what's his name, Johnson. You know the guy, like
Oh, he plays the
Howard
first.
Johnson.
Yeah. Well, no, you
The
should.
crazy founder of it.
Yes.
Make life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Do you know who I am?
You know.
God, dude, you're going like well deep into that lot. Holy.
Well, okay, I was just gonna say, well, you know.
But it's GLaDOS, right?
Yeah. But the guy who founded it, like you hear quotes from him and stuff, and he's just sort of crazy.
Yes.
He's like,
Yes.
He's like, you know, when life gives you lemons, like, what does he say? Like, take it back and demand a refill, or something like that.
That's the humour of it, right? It's the whole
Yeah.
like, cake. The cake is a lie kind of thing.
Yes.
That's a really good point because that is kind of the tone I was heading for.
Yeah. Just That sort of feeling I got, and I was picturing it set as somewhere like that. Like there's just sort of a glitch happening.
Yeah.
But they're so used to it as employees that they're just like, I've got to go out for lunch now. I just hope it's. Oh God, it's got bigger. But it's not that weird for them because they work in this bizarro world, this sort of company that this is sort of comes with the territory. Like they're expected.
Well, I tried to frame it at the start with a little inkling of a clue, and that this thread has been recovered.
Yeah.
But from where they don't know.
Yeah.
It's not part of our world where this thread's been recovered.
I also noticed you said an IRC.
Yeah.
So instant relay chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking it was going to be like a chat thing back and forth.
Well, it was dropped in. So IRC is like old school, kind of like.
Yeah. So they found it in a chat.
They got given a link through an anonymous IRC channel. Yeah.
So the narrator has written this out in a chat box.
No, the narrator in question. This was found on a thread on a forum called journalistsansfrontiers.org.
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist, but it was written on a very established forum.
So
seemed to have been.
So is there a chat? Where's the chat box coming?
The chat box has appeared to the meta narrator,
right,
i.e. us,
right,
has found this thread.
We found this thread.
Yes, we as an audience. So like the layers here, this is metafiction for you guys.
Right.
So the framing device.
Is it a thread or a chat?
Do you want to read out the?
Yeah, sure.
So you can. Because I do appreciate that was the first sentence. So it's the following document is an excerpt from a messaging board thread titled "Something Weird is in My Cubicle," posted on the tech support section of the journalistsansfrontiers.org forum on June 14th, 2014. Although extensive data mining has been employed, no meta trace of the forum in question has ever been found, and our verified counterpart, Reporters Without Borders, are unaware of the organisation's existence. However, the thread itself, posted anonymously through a confidential IRC channel, can be read to its full extent.
Oh, okay, I get it. So there was a confidential chat where someone shared a link to this thread.
Yes. This is the first post.
Okay.
In our world.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's important. So that is a very key.
Yeah. Okay.
A very key important bit.
Okay. So someone in our world is sharing this in a chat.
Yeah.
But doesn't seem to exist. The website they came from doesn't seem to exist.
Yeah.
But the thread does.
Yeah.
Find out next week.
Woo!
Or maybe the week after. But that was really good.
Probably the week after.
So is this going to be a part 1, part 2 type thing?
I'm hoping this is going to be an ongoing thing.
I probably should have scored it now. I'll wait.
Yeah, don't
I'll wait.
Scores gone out the window. Scores are old news.
Scores are very August 2019.
We both won, mate.
We won. It's over. I thought you were just adding the points in your head then. You went quiet. You went like that. You went like. I was like, you about to come out.
I bet someone could actually add up all the points, but we don't want to know. Maybe we do. No.
Well, yeah, we'll just see how the other few parts go, and then we'll round it up at the end.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm excited too. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun, guys.
Thank you to Jack for that. I'm gonna be doing a story next week, and we're gonna get back to business as usual. Hopefully you guys caught our live stream. That is one thing we did do while we were taking this break. We did a live stream.
Which got taken down, so if anyone's wondering where is it gone?
Got taken down.
We played a Beatles song and like 2 hours later, done, gone. Whatever, it was worth it.
It was, but we'll be definitely doing another live stream in September, hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
But until then, thanks for sticking with us, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate you. My name's Danny Burke.
I'm Jack Finch.
And we'll see you.
We're how no.
Yeah, we'll see you around.
Oh no, what's that? Stop rendering.
You can actually do that.
Yeah, we could actually.
Cassie. De-render him.
Stop. Cassie.